Hello and welcome back to the Gold Newsletter, here from the floor of the Frankfurt Deutsche Goldmesse, the German gold show. My name is Kai Hoffmann, I'm the editorial mining guy over on X, and of course, together with our good friend Brien Lundin, I'm the host of the Gold Newsletter channel, and I'm looking forward to welcoming back Marco Roque. He's the president and CEO over at Cassiar Gold. Marco, thanks so much for joining us in Frankfurt.
Thank you for having me here.
Absolutely, it's great to have you. Let's catch up on Cassiar. Maybe before we get into the details, 30-60 second overview. Who's Cassiar?
Cassiar Gold is a Canadian gold explorer. We're focused on our flagship in Western Canada, in Northern British Columbia. We have a massive district, 59,000 hectares, 5 past producing mines. It comes with infrastructure, access, mine permits. We have a substantial resource of 1.4 million ounces, over a gram per ton, starting at surface, and it's open laterally. It's open at depth. We've been actually drilling quite a bit since the last resource update. We've drilled 46,000 meters very, very successfully. It's in addition to the bulk tonnage, we also have these high-grade underground veins, grading between 10 and 20 grams per ton, 3-meter thick white veins. They're past-producing veins. We've extended them along strike over the past few years, and it's a very exciting project. We eventually want to get this to 5 million ounces, and we are going to have a resource update in a few weeks, so very excited about that.
We'll talk about the resource update in a second. I'm going to grill you on that a little bit and see what the plans are and whether we're still on time here. But before we get to that, 1.4 million ounces. Run us a bit quickly through the history of the project. How much was drilled on it? What's been going into the resource update here?
So the resource from 2022, the 1.4 million ounces, is built on 56,000 meters of drilling. The resource basically starts at surface. It's a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer footprint, goes down to 270 meters. Where 90% of the ounces occur within 150 meters from surface. So it's very shallow, literally at surface, and it's open laterally and at depth. We've been expanding since the last resource update. Of the 46,000 meters drilled, roughly 30,000 went into the Taurus area. So we expanded laterally, we expanded at depth. We've also expanded mineralization a little bit to the east and southeast, 500 meters and 600 meters respectively at Taurus East and Wings Canyon over the last few years as well. These three areas still don't connect, but we believe they have the potential, and we believe they will eventually connect. So we'll need to wait for the truth machine to get there. A lot of drilling, a lot of success so far. And more importantly, we're still quite undervalued compared to our asset base and infrastructure as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Direct road access. It's going right through the property. I remember it's cutting your both assets, your two project areas pretty much in half. Is that correct?
That's right. Yeah, so we're bisected by Highway 37. The access is so important. It really helps the cost to operate, keep the cost to operate really low. And also when it comes time for development, not only the access, but we have the road access, we have power access. We have a fully owned and permitted 300 ton per day mill. We have 17 portals, 25 kilometers of underground workings, 160 kilometers of access roads in addition to the paved roads. It's a really, really valuable asset, and it's very hard to find, deposits with this kind of infrastructure, because these days they're getting harder and harder to find, and having this type of infrastructure and access it's a massive advantage for any project. So we're very, very blessed to have those.
Absolutely. Run us a bit through the work that you've done over the last 6 to 8 months. I know you put out some geophysics, some results, some soil sampling as well. What is that telling you, and how are you using those results in future exploration?
So in the last basically 12 months, we've drilled 7,200 meters. Unsurprisingly, we hit in every single drill hole. We expanded mineralization. So most of the drilling was centered around Taurus in order to maximize the number of the resource update. We also did 3 follow-up drill holes at a target called New Coast. New Coast is 2.5 kilometers south of Taurus. We had on the previous year drilled 6 drill holes. The highlight from last year's drill campaign was 141 meters at 0.89 grams per ton, so similar width and similar grade as what we see at Taurus. So that's very exciting. What we're seeing at New Coast is basically what we see at Taurus, and that's what we love and like. So it looks like the New Coast target could become another Taurus. In terms of the mapping and sampling, we've done very extensive mapping and sampling. We're consistently finding similar style of veining, alteration, and mineralization as in Taurus, in a very large footprint surrounding Taurus. For example, at the new coast target that I was just mentioning, the mapping and sampling highlighted grab samples, multiple gram samples, similar grades as Taurus, some of which up to 25 grams per ton as well. And now that new coast target is a 4 kilometer east-west corridor, roughly 800 meters wide, which is basically in terms of footprints, 3 times the footprint of Taurus. So it's indicating a potentially much larger system. We found outcrop as well as Hopeful, which is just south of Taurus, and at the Our Rock target, which is roughly 1 kilometer to the east of Taurus. Other than that, we've also completed 70 square kilometers of geophysics late last year. So the results for that are still pending. So that's 70 times the footprint of Taurus. We've done VLF at the south. We've done drone mag and IP centered around Taurus in the north. So that should be coming very soon. And that, I think, is going to be very informative about the blue sky potential and some additional layers of evidence in addition to the drilling and the mapping and sampling that we're seeing at surface. So that's actually growing basically our data sets, the amount of layers of evidence that's pointing to a much larger system that gives us and improves the confidence in generating new drill targets. And it's all indicating we have a really exciting geology that's indicating a much larger system. So we have a big runway for drilling to make this bigger. We already have a substantial resource with all the key advantages of infrastructure and permits. But the geology is also, we don't seem to be short of that. It seems we're getting to a point where the constraint is capital, and the more we put into drilling, the more we can expand, which is a really good position to be.
100%. Sounds like you're preparing a lot of data to work with AI.
Yeah.
Like with all the geophysical results or so. Is that a plan down the road to involve AI in the process?
Yeah, no, we've been looking at AI options. It's everyone's talking about the AI these days, but you also, what's important, you got to make sure that the data sets are relatively consistent. So if we put garbage in or inconsistent data in, the output might be a little bit misleading, but that's something we're considering right now, and I think it could generate, we don't have any shortage of targets, fortunately, but if the AI can provide us with better insights and further insights and potentially some new targets as well, it's something that we're looking forward to look at as well.
Absolutely. Marco, I got a bit of a cheeky question for you. 100% hit rate. It sounds like you're not taking any risk when you're drilling.
We definitely could be taking more risk. A big part of the drilling in the last few years was some infill in areas we don't have resource blocks, so it's considered non-mineralized. So and they're representing the size of our deposit in a way. So we could definitely be taking more aggressive steps. You always have to start from what you know and go to the unknown in the stage approach. But we've been drilling over 15 kilometer trends over the past 5 years, so it's a lot of ground to cover. I guess we can always be more aggressive, but we've been hitting good grades and good widths. We've been hitting from surface, so it's as they say, if it ain't broken, don't fix it.
Why would you? Would you? No, absolutely. Resource update. We got to talk about it. So what is going into it now? What's different from the last resource? And when can we expect it? When is it coming out, Marco? The market is waiting.
Yeah, the market is waiting. I'm waiting. Everyone's waiting. The previous resource was based on 56,000 meters of drilling. We've drilled property-wide 46,000 meters since the last resource update, very high hit ratio. Roughly of those 46,000, roughly 30,000 in the Taurus area. So we're expecting a substantial increase in the resource. So we got to wait for what the number is going to be. And we also have a much better geological understanding. Every time we do a drill hole, every time we do more mapping, every time we do a geophysical, we get further basically information, better knowledge of the system, structural controls, and also you see a lot of similarities throughout the project. There's some things that you see consistently. There's requires a lot of kind of periodicity, repetition, and you can always take some learnings from one side to the other. So that's building a knowledge base that hopefully can improve also our targeting. That can get the hit ratio has been good, but maybe you can get better widths or better grades. We'll have to see.
Absolutely. Now, Marco. Resource update, of course, big milestone coming up here very soon. Geophysical results you mentioned also very soon as well. What we haven't heard about yet is the plans for this year.
Yeah.
I know you haven't put out any guidance in that regard, but after the resource is out, what are sort of the next steps? Run us through that a little bit.
So geophysics should come in very, very shortly, probably next week. Resource updates, we're guessing 3 weeks more or less, so very, very soon as well. Our plan is to go back to camp and start our exploration campaign in June again. In terms of the exploration strategy, we don't know. The geophysics going to give us information that could alter what we consider more priority. We don't have any shortage of targets. That's a good thing, but we need to prioritize what we believe can move the needle the most for the company to where we are. So we're definitely going to go back into the field. We're definitely going to continue to do some work, uncover more mineralization, find more golds, grow the project, de-risk it, and eventually as well something that's we haven't decided yet, but it's also being discussed is economic studies as well, because we have a very compelling project with lots of infrastructure and a number of ounces that's growing every time we do work. So with the current gold price, this type of project with this type of mineralization, especially at surface with all this infrastructure, I'm very curious to see what the economics look like, because I'm guessing it looks pretty attractive.
Oh, absolutely. Marco, just to recap, next catalyst, geophysics, resource, exploration plans, that order?
Yes, exploration plans, opening camp, and I guess we'll probably start releasing results again from the exploration campaign somewhere early September. So there's never a dull day in a market. We might have a bit of a gap of some news flow in July and August. As the crews are working hard to deliver us more, hopefully more gold. So that's kind of the plan, and as typical, starting in September, news flow goes for a few months, and potentially even working in the winter. That's an idea that's been floated. We have actually an excellent project that we can operate year-round, and there's some areas that have a little bit too much water, and it's hard to drill over water in the summer, but in the winter when the water freezes, it's a good platform to continue to expand mineralization.
Absolutely. Marco, thank you so much for joining us here in Frankfurt. It was a pleasure to catch up with you in person, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your time at the conference.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Absolutely. Everybody else, thank you so much for tuning in here to the Gold Newsletter. I hope you enjoyed this update with Marco Roque. Here's the president and CEO over at Cassiar Gold. Follow us for more from the Deutsche Goldmesse, and hit that like and subscribe button. It means a lot to us. Thank you so much. We'll be back with more.